Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and do the unboxing videos, and I'm going to start with the best thing, the ASUS RTAC68U dual channel wireless router. So let me go over a couple little details about this. It is it's got 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. 1300 megabytes a second capable. That's not gonna be what you're gonna get all the time, but 1300 megabytes a second capable on 5 gigahertz, and 600 megabytes capable on 2.4 gigahertz. And that's not going to be real world numbers. That's just what it's technically capable of, throughput wise. It has a USB 2.0 and a USB 3.0 port on the back for hooking up a printer or an external hard drive to use as a network drive. It's got a program built in called Air Radar, and what that does is it detects where the connected device is, and it tries to boost the signal to that device. You know, basically based on how far away it is and what direction and whatnot. It's got another program called AI Cloud, which basically lets you access your internal storage, your network storage, or your home network over the internet when you're not at home, which is one of the reasons why I really like this router, because it'll make it a lot easier for me to connect to my NAS server and home theater PC and all my saved files from anywhere. You know, instead of having to worry about setting up my own, FTP client and all that crap. You know what I mean? And just, it's a pain in the butt doing it the other way. So it'll just help a lot, you know. So that's why one of the things I wanted about it, I wanted this for. So it's got a 2-year warranty. It's ridiculous, you know. It's got so many features, and that's why I wanted this router, you know, compared to other ones. I looked at a Linksys router, and a TP-Link router, and a couple other ones, you know, but they just didn't have all the same features, didn't have as good reviews. And the ones that did have the same features and decent reviews were more money, you know. So and I trust ASUS. I have a lot of ASUS products, and they are just an awesome company that make awesome products. So, alright, let's go ahead and get this thing open and show you what we got inside here. Alright, so outer sleeve like normal. And for a while there, this router was actually the fastest one on the market. Now they have two that are a little faster. They're tri-band routers. Well, one's still a dual band, I believe, but the other one's a tri-band, and the other one's a dual band. But they're a little faster. But they the first step up router, which is the AC2400, actually has a lot of bad reviews about, you know, issues that they're having with it. I think they released it too fast or something. And the AC3200 is just outrageously priced, you know, for now. So I was like, yeah, I'll just get this one. It's got the best reviews, best price. So comes with the quick start guide, which, you know, doesn't tell you a whole lot. It basically tells you how to hook it up. Comes with the software CD that also has the full user's manual in a PDF format on there. VIP member notice. I don't know what that is yet. But I'll check that out, and whenever I hook it up and get everything working, I'll let you know more about that. This is the actual router itself. Take it out of the bag here. Really nice looking, really nice finish. Got the gold ASUS up here, or actually over here. Got all the lights at the bottom, you know, tell you all the normal stuff. On the back, it's got the power input right here. It's got the USB 2, USB 3, the WAN port. That's what comes from your modem into there, and then 4 LAN ports that go out from there to your switch or your PCs. And then it has an LED light that turns on and off all the LEDs on the front and back. This is an LED that lights up right here. And then this is where you put the 3 antennas. And then on the side here it has a Wi-Fi on and off button, which is really nice. So if you are going to be gone for a while and you're not going to need your Wi-Fi and you don't want to worry about anybody being able to hack it while you're gone or anything, you can just turn it off. Press that button, turn it off, but still have your wired computers hooked up. And then there's the WEP button there, which just makes it easier for people to... I never use that button, but hey, it's there if you want it. So, and then we have the power cable, which has a little transformer on it. They give you a RJ45 Ethernet cable and the 3 antennas, Wi-Fi antennas. So I'm going to go ahead and put these antennas on now, since I'm going to be hooking this up. And they just screw on like this. Just stick them on there real nice and easy, and just screw them on until they're snug, and they'll actually keep turning once it's snug. You don't have to crank them down. And then the user's manual, I actually got into, I went ahead and put that on the laptop and went through it last night. Says that these 2 side ones should be at a 45-degree angle, and there's actually like a little notch in there where it kind of stops and lets go like that. See? To where they need to be, right there. And the middle one's supposed to be straight up and down vertical. Like so. And this one's supposed to be 45 degrees the other way. Go ahead and twist it around a couple more times to make sure it's nice and snug, and then there you go. That's how it's supposed to be set up right there. Alright guys, I'm back with TP-Link TC7610 wired cable modem, and this is basically, it's a DOCSIS 3.0 cable modem. It does up to 343 megabytes a second downstream, which is download, and up to 120 megabytes a second upload. And I'm going to be replacing the crappy Time Warner Wi-Fi modem with this and the ASUS AC68U wireless router. So I'll just do a quick little unboxing. It's a pretty simple device. I mean, there's not a whole lot to these. It basically just turns your cable, signal into internet, and then you can either plug it straight into a PC, or you can plug it into a router to hook it up to multiple devices. So it has a little quick install guide, which basically tells you how to hook it up. With Time Warner, that you got to call them. I guess you can activate it automatically, but they want you to call them, and I've heard of people having problems trying to do automatic activation. So when I hook mine up, I'm just going to call them. It's got a little power adapter, like always, and then it actually has a modem and a little RJ45 cable. The modem's pretty small. It's not very big. I mean, it's not real big at all. I mean, it's smaller than my hand, so it's real easy to hide. It's got the lights in the front that tell you if it's, it's got power, if it's has upstream and downstream, internet access, stuff like that. And then it has that's where you plug your cable line in right there on the back. That's the coaxial cable. You got the power. And then that's where you plug in your WAN cable, this one, that goes from here to the WAN port, or on your router, or straight to a computer. And then it has a little reset button right there. And that's it. I mean, it's a pretty simple little device. I mean, there's not much to it. I'll tell you how the activation went when I called Time Warner and get it activated. So, but other than that, I mean, it's a pretty simple little thing. There's not much to it. Alright guys, now I'm just going to do a quick overview and unboxing of this, the Verizon wireless network extender. I'm not going to read the model number to you. If you want to zoom in on the model number right there, you can. It's pretty long, so. But they only have one network extender that's like this. They got a little signal booster thing that plugs into the wall. And then they have this. So, I've used one before with Sprint when I lived in Cleveland and I was dumb enough to have Sprint. Verizon works a lot better. I was in the middle of Cleveland and I had to use one with Sprint, and then out here I'm out in the boonies, so I can't really blame Verizon for that one. You know, I got a decent signal outside, but inside the house I have a crappy signal, so not really their fault per se, but you know, it kind of sucks. But since I got this, it should fix me up, because I had no problems once I got that one through Sprint. So, but here it is. It's got a quick start guide, which you got to download the manual for this thing too, if you want the full manual. It's got the quick start guide and then the stupid product safety crap that nobody ever reads. Tells you the same crap that every other one does. Don't put it next to certain devices. Don't, you know, put it near somewhere where it can get wet. Blah 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 blah. And then we actually have the device right here, which looks kind of like just like an internet modem or router, you know, which basically is what it is. It's got a little antenna right there. It's got the lights on the front that tells you if it's, you know, powered on and connected to the different, to 3G and voice and all that good stuff. And then on the back it's got the power input right here, and it has the LAN cable input right there, or WAN cable I guess is what they would call it on this, because it's going in. And then on the bottom it has a little port they don't give you a cable for. I'm guessing that's for updating firmware or software, you know, but they don't give you a cable for that. So, oh, never mind, that's actually an HDMI input. Maybe you can plug it into your TV and use it as a display to change settings or something like that. I'm not sure, but that's an HDMI input. Which is really weird. I don't know. I'll look at the manual and see what that says when I hook it up, and if it's anything that a user might want to use, I'll update you on that. So, and then underneath here is the GPS receiver. And then if you can't put this near a window, this actual box, it comes with a cable, so you can pull this out and you can put this near a window, you know, further away. So I'll see how I'm going to hook it up. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be able to hook this up near a window, or if I'm going to have to use that extender. So then there's a little slot right there to put the cable out of if you need to use the extender. That way you can put this cover back on so it looks all nice and purty. So, but this is made by Samsung, same people make my phone. I really like Samsung for phones and stuff, and I like Samsung and ASUS are some of my favorite companies, man. They make decent products. So I'm going to take all this crap off right now. It doesn't really matter if you take it off or not, or leave it on there if you want your thing to stay protected or not. But I actually purchased this for, I mean, I didn't pay much for it because I got them to give it to me for real cheap, but I own it now, you know, I don't have to give it back, so it's mine, you know, for as long as I have Verizon, which will be for a long time, because I've had AT&T, I've had Sprint, I've had T-Mobile. I don't like any of them as much as I like Verizon. They have their problems, but not as many as the other ones, so that's it. Alright, so I finally got the network set up. It's not in a completely finished state. I need to kind of rewire some stuff, you know, because right now it's just kind of in a you know, I just kind of threw it together. It's not completely finished. I need to rewire some stuff and move some stuff around. But here's the router and the Verizon wireless network extender. And then behind here is the modem, the Linksys modem. And basically, I just have this hooked to the cable line, the coaxial cable, the power, and then the WAN line, the WAN connection right here goes from here to the WAN connection of the router, right there on the towards me, or towards the left of the router. And then the black Ethernet cable runs from here and runs all the way over here along the wall to my switch down here, if you can see it in there. And then two of the cables run out of the switch. One goes to the Xbox 360, one goes to my home theater PC right here. And then the other two ports on the router, one of them goes to the network extender for Verizon, the other one goes to my Z800, and then when I get the kids computer working again, another one will be going to that.
Alright, so I just wanted to show this quick. It's just I just made this in Paint. It's just a quick diagram of actually how I have my room set up here for now. And I'm going to start over here to the right. This is where my TV and Xbox 360 and the cable line comes in. Okay, this is my home theater PC media center setup. And then I have my desk over here, and then the kids' desk over here. So basically, the cable wire, the coax comes in, and I got it running all the way over here because I wanted to have my modem over here so I could access it easily, because it's not easy to get underneath here and behind there to mess with it. So, and this is pretty much in the center of the room, and that way, if somebody's in the bedroom, in the back or in the front, doesn't matter. They still have Wi-Fi really easy. So, but basically, the coax cable comes in here and goes into the cable modem. And then the WAN cable, which is the main Cat 6 cable coming out of the modem, goes from here to the router, to the WAN port. And then that's, gives me wireless and also has 4 ports on it. So then I got one of these cables, the first one, and that's the way you should wire up your switches, is from the number 1 spot on the router. I have a 25-foot Cat 6 cable running over here to the number 1 spot in the switch, and then from the number 2 spot it runs to my home theater PC, and the number 3 spot it runs to my Xbox 360. So then back over here at the ASUS router, I have the second one running over to my Verizon network extender, and the third one running to my HPC 800 workstation PC, and the fourth one running over to the kids PC, which eventually I'm going to get rid of this because they've been using our laptops lately anyway, and I'm going to put a network backup server which will back up my home theater PC and my HPC 800, because right now I have them basically backing up to each other, so it's a copy of everything, but that's kind of a pain in the butt. I'd like to have both of these back up to that backup server, and everything else. So eventually that's the way I'm going to set it up. But for now, that's the basic setup. I have a better diagram I made, but the one that I made doesn't have the room layout. It's just a layout of the network.
I got everything hooked up yesterday. I didn't have time to film all the actual setup because I was doing it in a hurry. We had so much stuff going on around here. This place is trashed right now because we're moving stuff around and everything, and I just did it in a hurry. But I'm gonna go ahead and do some tests for you guys and kind of compare the network performance versus yesterday. So, and the wired connection's about the same. It's 30 something megabytes a second up or down, and about 6 or 7 or 8 up, depending on what it feels like doing. So let me go ahead and go to speed test .net. I'm going to go to the same server as yesterday, the Toledo server, and we'll see what we get. 35 milliseconds ping. It's a little quicker. Yesterday it was around 44 to 50. I'm actually getting faster than before too. 37.23. I only pay for 30 megabytes a second down, so that's pretty good. I've been having this problem too with Google Chrome, where it doesn't want to do the upload, and I've heard that that's from doing from ad block. So let me try. Alright, so apparently it wasn't Chrome, it was just that you need, even though Chrome has a Flash Player plugin installed from, normally, apparently you got to install the Flash Player system plugin. So I went ahead and did that. Now we're going to do it again here. Ping 34 milliseconds. Sorry if the camera's shaking, I'm kind of holding it weird here. Oh, come on, it just worked fine 2 seconds ago. Man. Okay, well anyway, I'm not going to mess with this all day. I'll just go ahead and I'm going to restart my computer just to see if that makes a difference. Now what we're going to do is test it on here. I just got Flash installed on here, as you can see. Let's see if it works on here. Ping 39 milliseconds. This is on Wi-Fi, by the way. It's almost basically the same speed as my PC with Ethernet. And it's going to have the same freaking problem with the upload. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe it's that browser. Maybe it's that server. I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me try a different server. See if that helps. Okay. Come on. Let me try this one. Ping was a little slower, pretty fast speed though, 37 megabits a second. Let's see if it actually uploads now. Oh, there you go. It must have been that server. Maybe it's having a problem with receiving packets or something, I'm not sure. But 37 megabytes a second down, 5.93 megabits a second up, and what I pay for is 30 down and 5 up, so I mean that's good enough for me. And before I was getting 25, 26 over Wi-Fi with both my laptops, and anywhere from 4 to 7 up. And on my phone, I'll go ahead and do my phone real quick. On my phone, I was getting 8 megabytes a second down, and I can't remember what I was getting up, but we'll see what it does now. Alright, it's on the right server. Let's see what it does here. I got 35 milliseconds ping. About the same speed, 37 megabits a second. And that's over Wi-Fi on my phone. Yesterday it was 8. With the same, internet connection. It was just, oh dang. Upload went to 7, around 7. 6, 7. This is the same internet connection, just using my own modem and my own router. So, and as you can see, if you guys remember on the video earlier, I had no signal whatsoever. Now that I have the network extender, though, I have full signal because of that. So, and I have awesome Wi-Fi. So, we're good to go. To me, it was worth it. You know, it was a lot of work getting all that stuff unhooked and rehooked up because of my, I had hurt my back and just had surgery on it. But I had my niece help me do all that stuff, and it was worth it though. I was getting tired of not being able to even connect to the internet or make calls from my house, and with any of our computers, the wired connection was okay, but the Wi-Fi from the crappy Time Warner router was it was so unstable. I was always getting these errors on my phone and on my laptops that the internet connection was unstable and stuff like that, and it was just so freaking annoying. It was unreal. So finally got that resolved, and this isn't the permanent setup. Like I said, I'm gonna rewire everything. I just kind of got everything thrown together right now. You can see the power strips right there. I just kind of threw it together because I had to have my niece help me. But once I get a chance, once my back gets a little bit better, I'm gonna pull this whole desk out and rewire everything. Run the wires nice and neat behind there. Probably zip tie them up behind the desk, that way they're not hanging on the floor. And replug everything in nice and neat and get it out of the way and clean all the wires up back behind there because they're a jumble right now too. So and get everything redone. So
All right, so this is the graph I made up. It's a little more technical and has actual pictures of everything. It's a little nicer. Basically, this is the coax cable coming in from the wall, and on my setup, if I was looking at the top of my room, where everything's set up, it'd be coming from over here. But I just got it set up like that. That's the coaxial cable from the cable company coming in the wall, going to the TP-Link TC7610 modem. And then I have the WAN cable coming out and going to the WAN port on the ASUS RT-AC68U router. And the router has 4 LAN ports to hook up 4 different things with a Ethernet cable, and then it also has it's a dual band, so it has a 5 gigahertz wireless and 2.4 gigahertz wireless. And I also have it set up to where each one of these has a guest network, and you can set up to 3 guest networks on each band. So that's freaking awesome. I don't know why you need all those, but it's pretty cool to have. If you have somebody over that wants to use your Wi-Fi, but you don't want them to be able to access your internal network, where you share your files and stuff, you can set up a guest network and give them a separate password from your normal network, and you're good to go. So, but basically, from there, I have the number 1 LAN port goes to my switch, but for this graph, I just put it in this order because it kept them from overlapping. And then I have the second one going over to my Verizon network extender. And then in the future, this is what I was talking about earlier, I'm going to add a backup server, probably an HP XW8600, because you can get them really cheap. And I already have a couple of processors, 3 gigahertz processors that'll work for that. And I can get them really cheap, on eBay, so I might grab one of those and use it for a backup server. And then, like I said, the third one goes to my TP-Link 7-port switch or 8-port switch. And then the other one goes to my HP Z800 workstation. And then the HP OfficeJet 4500 is hooked up with a USB cable. And that acts as my network printer and scanner via the internal app that they have built into the router, which is awesome. That way I can... anything that's connected to my internal network that I let access it, I don't have to... install it on my HP Z800 and then share it with the rest. It'll automatically be shared with that. If I hit print, it should automatically bring that up as a network printer and print it, or scan anything in. I should be able to do it that way pretty easy. So that's the way I set it up. And eventually I'm going to get another laser printer because, when you print off a lot of stuff, it takes a lot of ink. And laser printers are a lot more efficient with ink, so, but they're kind of expensive, so. And then after all this stuff that's immediately hooked up off the router, we got this switch. And then from the switch, I have one of the Ethernet cables going to my NAS server, my home theater PC / NAS server. And then the other one going to the Xbox, which we don't really use that much, but, we have it if we want to use it for Netflix or whatever, or playing games. And then the rest of the stuff on my network is all wireless. And I have the 2 laptops, the Nintendo Wii, and the smart TV on the 2.4 gigahertz network, because that's all they can do. They can't do the AC wireless, which is what our phones are on, the 5 gigahertz network. That's the new, basically the new standard for wireless. It's going to be, that's coming out now, and it's a lot faster in my opinion. I guess it doesn't. It's not as good at distance. It can't reach as far as 2.4 gigahertz, but it's a lot faster. And from what I heard, it can go through walls a little bit better. Maybe I'm backwards on that. I'm not sure, but that's what I think is what it does. So, but anyway, everything works great. I've tested my phones. You saw the speed test on there. They work exactly the same speed as the wired network. Everything works just phenomenal. I can share my files between all my computers. Basically this computer here is my home theater PC and NAS, and I share my videos and music to all my, everything, my phones, my PC, my laptops, and I'm also using the AI Cloud app. If anybody wants to know a little bit more about how to set that up, there's a bunch of YouTube videos, and I can make one if you guys want me to, so that I can access my internal network outside of my home on my phone. They have an app that you download, and you just hook them up, and it's really easy to use. And now I can, watch my videos from anywhere in the world. As long as I have an internet connection that's fast enough, I can check out my pictures. I can listen to my music straight from here, in my home, anywhere I want. So, and it makes it a lot easier than other ways of doing it. Because I've done it other ways, and a lot of the time they're just glitchy. They don't work very good on phones, things like that. And this is like rock solid, steady, works great. So, no problems. And that's basically how I have it set up. If anybody has any network, if any network techs or anybody that's a professional at this type of stuff has any, feedback and thinks that this could work better with what I have, or maybe getting some cheap things like other switches or whatever that might make this setup better, let me know. I'm in a small house, so I don't need multiple wireless access points. I only need one. And just let me know if you guys think anything could be improved here, how I have this set up or anything like that. So, but the reason why I have most of the things coming off of this instead of, a switch first and then, that is because I want this to control everything. I want this to control the AI cloud so I can, access any of these devices from anywhere, if I want to, and access, it controls the printer and everything. So, but if there's a different way to set this up where it might be more efficient, let me know. I'll be, I'm open to any kind of criticism or anything to set this up a little bit better. So, all right, guys. Well, that's about it. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know. If you have any feedback for me, let me know. And please like and subscribe if you guys can, and we'll talk to you later.